when I look at Instagram and people I don't know, sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh. Like
that's what I do.
Oh, okay.
You know,
yeah.
I do not compare myself
to
with
our
my
inner circle.
No.
Right.
But I'm like, man, how come I'm not Beyonce? You know? And then I'm like, oh wait, because I'm not that talented. You know?
Welcome to the Real and Relatable podcast, where no topic is off limits. We're the girlfriends that keep it real and give you different perspectives, because we know one way isn't always the right way. Hello, welcome to the Real and Relatable podcast. My name is Cash.
I'm LC.
Today, I want to take the time to talk about, as we're in the winter season, and we have a lot of people we know who are in the Midwest
And New York.
Any state that has 4 seasons, right? And snowfall. We tend to fall into seasonal depression sometimes, and I don't blame anybody, because when you're stuck inside for a majority of the time and you can't really step outside to even soak in any vitamin D, sunlight, or anything like that, you're left to really just sit in a room, watch a lot of TV, and think a lot, you know?
Seasonal depression is real.
It is.
I didn't even realize that until I moved here to California. And I was like, happy year round. I was like, oh my God, I didn't realize how depressed I was when I was in New York, especially wintertime.
Did you experience seasonal depression sometimes?
Now I realize it, but back then it just felt like winter.
It didn't register.
Yeah.
Right?
Winter. And and winter sucks. You know.
Yeah.
How you.
Oh, yeah.
It, right?
That's true. You're right.
You don't know.
We make an explanation like, winter sucks. I'm probably feeling this way because I can't go outside. You're right. And sometimes if it snows us in, we're forced to be inside. So we don't have a say about it. But I want to talk about when you're in a rut, when you're stuck in a rut where you're feeling kind of down, what can you do? And let's talk about our experiences with that, around that topic. So
it's real.
It's real. You know, myself too, Elsie. I guess you and I both, we have had experiences with seasonal depression and just feeling a little bit low energy, right? During those seasons. If it's dark at 4:50 every day for that many seasons and you're really not going outside,
you're a different person.
You are, yeah. So what has your experience been when you're stuck in a rut? Have you ever been in your lows of lows, and is it frequent that it happens, or like rarely?
Yeah. So I'm a pretty even keel, like an even Steven type of person. I used to call myself gray, because I'm not black or white. I'm not like super positive and happy all the time, or like negative and depressed all the time. I'm just gray. I'm just in between. I'm just logical. I'm just like, okay, whatever.
So you're steady.
Yeah, I'm really generally really steady. I'm not like a very emotional type of person, right? So I would say maybe I'm less vulnerable to you know, feeling depressed and getting feeling like I'm in a rut. Not to say that it's never happened, because it does sometimes, like maybe out of the blue, I'm just feeling a little down and just like not inspired and just like wanting to be somewhere else or further along or whatever. We kind of talked about that. You feel the same way. But for me, it's like it's lighter.
Tell me about a time when you did feel really low.
Really low has only been once. I've only experienced that once in my life.
Once in your life?
Once.
Well, you're very lucky.
Yeah.
Fortunate.
Wow. In my life. I have no other memories of being depressed. But this one, definitely, I can still remember it like yesterday.
So what happened?
So I was living in Baltimore. And I got a job to move back to New York to be director and lead a team in New York. So I moved back as like this really high, you know, job, whatever. I moved to Jersey City, because it was like right across the lake from the office, in this high-rise luxury building. It had like all these amenities, pools, like everything you want. Just like I started working, and like a month in, I started getting.
Well, it sounds like from what you're explaining to me, luxury, high rise, nice job. It sounds like it should be happy.
Yes, exactly, right. And I was like, something is wrong, right? I was like, I don't feel happy for some reason. Is it because like the person that I was dating is like still back in Baltimore and I moved there by myself?
Okay.
Or what, right? But there's no way that could cause me to be like so low. And then I specifically remember one evening, I worked really late, like 9 or 10 p.m. at the office. And then I took the train, got off in Jersey City. And instead of going home, I decided to walk to Target. because Target was like a few blocks from the train station.
Okay.
And Target closes at 11 p.m. I love Target. Everybody loves Target. So I'm like, okay, I don't want to go home and be alone. So I'm going to go and walk around Target. Right?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
That was like a weird thought that I had.
Okay.
So then I went and I was walking around Target aimlessly with my shopping cart. And all of a sudden, this thought crossed my mind like, if I killed myself, nobody would miss me.
You thought that crossed your mind?
Yes.
Why would you think that?
And
It just happened?
immediately, yes. That thought like flashed through my mind. Immediately, I was like, holy shit.
That's not normal.
That's not normal. That's
Yeah.
not me. Like something is wrong with me and I need to get help.
Wow.
I am not a suicidal person. I will unalive you or I unalive myself.
Oh my God.
You know?
And you normally wouldn't unalive somebody.
Unless I had to. No.
Wow.
So like I have that kind of personality where I'm like outgoing, I'm doing my thing, or I have a purpose, I'm driven, you know?
Yeah.
Like I will never unalive myself, right?
Yeah.
So when that thought crossed my mind, I was like, oh my God, something is wrong.
Wow.
So I go home, I sleep. The next morning, I Googled therapists immediately. And
Wow.
I found one that was like in my old neighborhood in the West Village in New York. And I was like, okay, well, it's close enough. I can go by and see her, right?
Okay.
So I emailed her right away and said, something is wrong with me. I'm having self-unaliving thoughts. Something's wrong with me. She called me immediately. Like,
Oh,
as soon as
wow.
she got that because it's like the
High urgency. Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I didn't know that, but she called me immediately and I like walked into one of the office, closed the door, hopped on the phone call with her and she was like, what's going on? Tell me everything, like chronologically, you know?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
tell her, okay, I have this amazing high paying job. Like my team is great. The company's great. I'm back in New York with friends and with their, she was like, okay, let's backtrack a month. Let's backtrack 2 months. Let's backtrack 3 months, And I was like, the only thing that is different is that I switched my birth control pill. And she was like, that's probably what's causing it.
Wow.
And she was like, I need you to monitor it. Being depressed is normal,
Yeah.
she said. We all go through ups and downs, but to the level where you want to unalive yourself, that is extreme.
Yeah.
And so I cannot pinpoint anything that has happened in the last 3 months that would make you want to do that because everything seems good.
Yeah.
The only thing I can pinpoint is your birth control. So I want you to just stay on it, but monitor your mood swings, and every Friday check in with me. So that was a Friday. So the next week I checked in with her, and I was like, I feel fine. Like I'm like back to normal. She was like, okay, that's good. So just continue to monitor it then, and then call me and schedule an appointment. Maybe we should start meeting monthly just to make sure. But every Friday I want you to check in. Okay. But the following Friday, I was fine. I checked it on her and told her I'm totally fine. I don't feel depressed or anything. I feel like I feel totally normal. And so she said, okay, so that's great, and just continue to monitor it, continue to check in. But then I never checked in again because I was completely back to normal again.
Okay.
So that's been my only experience with depression. And it was extreme to that level where that thought crossed my mind. Like I am not that kind of person.
Before that night, did you have other episodes at night where?
Nope.
So wait, so it sounds to me like you kind of just went from 0 to 100.
Yeah.
Like spike.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I feel like I was slowly feeling a little bit sad, slowly a little bit, and thinking, okay, if I move back to New York, I'll be happy. I have this new job, I'll be happy. I have this new amazing home, I'll be happy. But like none of it made me happy.
Yeah.
And so then I was like, what am I doing this for then? What is all of this then?
What is the meaning of all of this?
What's the meaning of all of this? What's the meaning of life? Like I keep working so hard, moving up, but it has no bearing on my happiness. So then I just became really depressed then.
So question for you, the people in your life, the ex that you were at that time with, or your siblings or your friends, did they point out any differences in your personality or interactions? Or were you withdrawn and not talking to people so much? Or
no, I was pretty normal.
Okay.
It was pretty normal. It's more mental.
Okay.
Like,
So
it
you
wasn't
still
like
went out.
Yeah. I
Okay.
still went out. I still was talking to people. I was still high functioning at work. But inside my brain, I was like kind of sad. And I was like, what am I doing all this? Or what's the purpose of all this? You know,
Okay.
like, who cares, you know? So chemical hormonal depression is real.
It's a real thing. Yeah, it's a real thing. And that's something for everybody to consider, is the fact that when you have hormonal imbalances, it could really affect your mood and your idea of depression or happiness. It really can.
But you know what? The key to this is knowing yourself, because as soon as I had that thought, I was like, something is wrong with me.
Yep.
Something is wrong. This is not me.
I have to get help.
I need help right now because this is not me.
Yeah. Good for you.
Never think this kind of thought. I would never do this.
Yeah.
You know?
Good for you.
So I'm like, this is not even me. I don't know who is inside my body or what is happening to me, you know? And so I think it's important to recognize when your mood change and when you're not you, and get professional help.
That comes with being self-aware. Yeah. And I think that takes practice, right? Just learning how to listen to yourself, knowing how to be aware of, oh, you know, my mood is changing, or I'm a little bit irritable than normal, or I would never think these thoughts. So this is probably a red flag for me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. How interesting. So I have general anxiety. And what that means is a lot of people don't understand that anxiety, everybody has anxiety sometimes, but when you have general anxiety, when it becomes a problem is when it affects your quality of life. So for example, sometimes I'll be stressing out and having anxiety about something, or a conflict, or a disagreement between friends, or anything, and it'll ruminate in my head again and again and again and again, and I can't sleep at night, and I'm just thinking about it again and again and again, and it'll be 4, 5, 6 in the morning, and I just can't stop it. That's how much it impacts me sometimes. I've learned how to deal with my anxiety and how to manage relationships. And
is that like on a daily basis? Because that does happen to me every once in a while when I'm stressed out or, you know, whatever, but like not all the time.
It happens enough where on a normal basis, I have anxiety about, like, it impacts my work life. It impacts a lot. Yeah, it impacts my sleep. It impacts a lot. So it basically affects my quality of life. Like, it sucks. But
yeah, because this girl doesn't sleep. She's like messaging at 2 a.m.
And that's not even like, I don't even message you most times because I'm like, I don't want to accidentally wake her up, you know, but when I do, they're like, oh my God, what time is it? And I have friends from across the globe, and they're always like, it's daytime here. Aren't you supposed to be asleep? But because of that, you know, I remember a doctor one time said to me, I will write your prescription for drugs for anxiety. And I don't even like to take Tylenol or Advil. You know, I like to tough it out and not take medication. I was asking this guy, this doctor, because he was just so dismissive. Okay, you have anxiety. Okay, I'm going to write you this drug. Yeah. And I asked him, no, not so quick, doc. Like, what does this mean? What does this entail? You know, I'm not just going to have you dismiss me by giving me prescriptions for something that I can deal with without drugs. Yeah. So he said, well, first of all, if you get on it, you have to stay on it for 6 months. And if you jump off prematurely, then you might get depression. I was like, what the F? Getting depression is diagnosed depression is a fear of mine, because we have highs and lows, but I don't want to like get diagnosed with depression. Mm-hmm. So I told him, no, forget it. Yeah. Like, if this is a risk and I might get this other thing from dealing with anxiety, I can deal with anxiety through meditation, through best practices, exercises, right? Mind exercises and physical exercise and other things. There's other ways to cope, therapy, right? But I don't want to risk getting depression. So
that's a scary
hormones and
I'm not a doctor.
We're both not.
Yeah, my personal opinion is you made the right decision, because that's scary.
It's scary.
Like, the drugs is going there to mess with your brain, and if you don't stick with the schedule, you will mess up another part of your brain.
Yep. No, I'm not going to trade one thing for another. Yeah. And I'd rather have this first thing than the second thing. I'd rather have anxiety than have depression. No. So So anyways, I still deal with anxiety, but the best thing is, and I'm sure each and every one of you have experienced it on some level, one in some way or another, but you know, you just have to remind yourself, this is what I do to cope, is okay, calm down. You're just having anxiety right now. The moment's gonna pass. There's other things I've heard too, like if somebody is going through this cycle of increasing anxiety, they say like focus on touch. Maybe get a rock or touch the table or do something that is going to bring you back to the physical so you get out of your brain. When you're spinning in your thoughts that are giving you anxiety, you're in your head too much. Yes. Bring it back to something physical is what I've heard.
Yeah.
Again, just
I agree.
Just tips and tricks, you know, not doctors. So, yeah.
I agree with that. Like even yoga practice.
Yeah.
When we teach somebody, we tell them to center, to leave what has happened out and come and feel the ground, you know, so the different parts of your body and recenter, right? Like,
yeah, I agree. And I don't know, for me, a few of the things that I have experienced when I'm in a rut or I'm feeling low is because I typically have a positive attitude. I'm typically very chill and I typically don't overreact for the most part. Yeah. My mood is steady. But there are times where I'll feel sad. And when I find myself feeling sad, it's because maybe I'm thinking too much and I start to think, I'm not where I want to be in life right now. Whether it's career, whether it's relationships, whether it's a friendship that is rocky, that is making me feel super uneasy because I hate conflict. I'm avoidant. I hate conflicts. You know, if I feel like people don't like me, it gives me a lot of anxiety. But I've been learning to just be like, you know, let them. You know, Mel Robbins' let them theory, you know. But it is true though, because you can't control. Yeah, you can't control anything anyways. What's the point, you know? But some recent lows that I've been feeling is I never saw myself getting married and having kids because I was too scared. But then now I'm like, oh my gosh,
I got to get on it.
I got to get on it. And I'm not married yet and I don't have kids yet. And it's a good thing because I would rather be single and feeling this way than to have rushed into something and had one or two kids and divorced. Because to me, if I would have rushed and had kids with the wrong person, any of my exes, they're great people, but they were not my person, right? They were not meant for me. So if I would have forced it and ended up divorced with a couple of kids, I might find myself in a harder place today. Or I might be okay, like, who needs a man? I got my 2 babies. You know, like, who knows? It's hard to say. But in this moment though, even though I sometimes feel sad that I don't have that family yet, I still can be grateful for the fact that I didn't do it just to do it.
Yeah, they say you have to look on the bright side or you have to have gratitude for what you actually have. And I think that's a great twist on it. You know, being grateful that you didn't end up with the opposite and unhappy because of that, you know.
And then some other lows in the past is maybe in my past when I've felt down was maybe the career that I was in at that time. I felt like I wasn't going anywhere with it, you know? So at that time, I felt sad. At that time, I felt like, oh my God, universe, give me a break, you know? And we've had those. But the thing is, though, I was always solution seeking. Yeah. And I was always problem solving.
You know what's interesting? Like, I never worry about my career because I felt that was the only thing I can control in my life. You know, like if I wanted to be at a company or at a certain position, I could control that. But I couldn't control anything else in my life. I felt like relationship wise or anything. Yeah. Like, well, I mean, I got married young and we split up. We just grew apart. We're still friends, you know, but we just grew apart. And that actually is heartbreaking, you know?
What part? What do you mean? Exactly.
When you think you have your person, but you don't.
Oh, yeah.
The breakup or divorce, you know.
Was that difficult for you?
Of course.
But you didn't feel depressed. You didn't feel that sad, that low.
I was sad, but it wasn't like depressed. It was
Okay.
it was just like, dang, this sucks. Like I never imagined that this would happen.
Yeah.
You know, you think you meet that person and you think you get married and you think it's gonna be forever. Nobody thinks, oh, this is gonna end up in divorce.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Nobody thinks that.
Yeah.
So of course you feel down, but it wasn't like to the level of depression.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
was just like bummed.
Yeah.
This sucks, you know.
There's a couple things is when you're dealing with just the cycles of highs and lows, subconsciously you don't know why. But then there's also the real obvious things, like when you are coming out of a divorce. It's like real obvious. It's not a seasonal depression hormonal thing. It's a life event, you know, or losing someone you love.
Breakup,
You know.
even a breakup is heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And for those kinds of things, I don't know if you have a solve for those because I don't.
A solve.
Yeah. Solve or like how to feel better about it. It's like I feel like those things take time.
Yes. I was just gonna
Like
say.
breakups, divorce,
Yeah.
losing someone. Those things take time. Like there's no like answer to it.
Yeah. They say
You can't take a pill for those.
no. They say time heals.
Yeah.
You know, and it's true. Because there was a time when I went through not a divorce. That word's just you know. I went.
Told me that.
I went through a breakup, and I swear I was so depressed. I was so sad. It hit really hard, and I just remember I felt, this is how I explained it to my friends. I said, I feel like I am in a dark room, and there is no light at the end of the tunnel. And I said to them, I know better. I know that I'm going to get to that space where there's light at the end of the tunnel. But right now, it feels like I can't even see it. Like I'm nowhere close to it. And I am putting in faith because I have no other choice but to bet on myself and to be hopeful. But I can't wait until I arrive,
Yeah.
is how I felt,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, it's so sad, like breakups. Like, and whether I was like sure or not sure about the person, it's still sad because they say like emotionally as humans, we're looking for a partner to be with, you know? And so when things don't work out, it really is difficult.
Yeah.
You know, no matter who you are, it's difficult.
It's difficult. Yeah.
So I would say like the deep chemical hormonal depression, breakups are always
Life events, right? Yeah.
Yep. Sometimes for me, I may just be in a rut, like for no reason. I don't know if I can pinpoint any cause for it. Maybe it's just in too much of a routine. Like I'm doing the same thing every single day and feeling like there's nothing new, there's nothing that I'm really doing that's different and interesting and that I'm looking forward to.
Something outside of you is seeking more adventures or something different.
But like if I do the same thing, like run my day over and over for a long period of time, I do start to feel like
I'm not that happy.
Yeah, I'm not that happy. Like I'm in a rut, or I'm
Yeah.
you know, I'm just not happy, you know.
Or is this it?
Yeah, is this it?
Yeah.
And so that I have sometimes.
Okay.
And doesn't have anything to do with comparing myself to anyone.
It's just routine.
Yeah, it's just like this feels stuck, or I just feel like, is this it?
Yeah.
Like, really? And when I get those feelings, like I was talking to my sisters once and they said, girl, you need to just go and get a mani and pedi and then you'll feel better.
Did it help?
I did. And it was amazing.
Okay,
I
okay.
was excited. I was like happy. The sun came out, the rainbows, you know, I was skipping down the street. And sometimes you just need that. Like,
Yeah.
just like get some nails and put some makeup on.
Do something. Yeah.
Do something
Yeah.
that is like just like switch up your routine.
Yeah.
Something different.
That's why I think it's so important to have good friends. Because sometimes when your friends are like, what are you doing? Let's go out. Or, what are you doing? Let's go grab some lunch. Or what are you doing? Let's go get our nails done or go to the spa. It kind of picks you up. Even if you don't share with them that you're feeling kind of down, you know, it gives you something to do. And that's so important. It's the human relations, you know? So I love it. If I'm in a rut, I just want to sleep. I'm just in bed. I'm just like, I just want to be in my bed with my phone and scroll and look at memes and, or just sleep, And so sometimes I'll feel like that where I just don't want to do anything. I just want to be in bed, But that's usually also when I've been exhausted by being around too many people. And my mind has been too active and I just need to withdraw because I am always been introverted, but now in my adult years kind of was in the middle because I've worked towards picking that up a little bit and finding a blend. But I do that sometimes, and you're right. Maybe I should take, your advice, Elsie, and just book an appointment for a massage and get my nails done. Do something to make me feel good.
Yeah. No, sometimes I like what you're doing too. Just laying in bed and resting, like. For sure, that charges my electricity, right?
Yeah.
My battery a little bit. When it's drained, it allows me spiritually to be refilled. But if I am like sad, it just prolongs it.
Yeah.
If I need recharging, yes. But if I'm sad,
dwelling in it.
Yeah.
I have done that.
So I don't like feeling down. I will go outside instead. Yeah.
So something I want to point out, I've heard this, even if it's a breakup that you're suffering through, I have heard that, hey, look, it's okay to embrace the sadness. It's okay to sit there and wallow and cry and feel bad for yourself and feel bad for the situation. It's okay because you have to embrace it in order for everything to be felt and pass through you. However, when you have to start feeling like you have to force yourself to, hey, I gotta snap out of it. I gotta let go of this. Is when you're stuck in it for so long that it's becoming unproductive. So when it's sadness that's productive, that means you're really embracing it so you can process it. We need to process sadness or a breakup or losing a loved one or whatever. You have to process it so you can heal and let go. But don't sit in it where it's unproductive.
Yeah. A side note, I don't know if you guys know this, but they say that a breakup, it is pretty much like you are losing somebody.
Yeah, it is.
Grieving. Like your body, your emotions, everything is grieving.
That's true.
Grieving this person as if they have passed.
Yeah.
Because that's how your mind and your body is processing that breakup. It's like a loss.
Exactly.
It's so crazy because that is how you feel.
It is.
You feel like this person has passed.
Yep. It's true. And call it what you will. Maybe it's because I'm going to say this because I'm a female. I don't know. But it is true. Women, we do process things and think really deeply. Even when I date somebody, I think about our future, our potential future, all the things that I imagine, all the memories that are meant to be made. It just kind of died because now it's like, flush it down the toilet, everything got killed, everything died, it's never going to happen. And you do have to grieve that process, like the loss of that. I hope that made sense, but it's a thing, So then, have you ever felt a sense of sadness or a loss or really like low times through the workplace, whether it's getting let go, getting fired, losing a job, or it's never affected you that much when it comes to the workplace?
Work career doesn't really affect me that much. I don't know why. Like I said earlier, for some reason, it's something I feel like I can control.
Okay.
Even though you technically can't.
Yeah.
It can happen at any time. Yeah. I mean, the only time is like if like a meeting didn't go well, or like...
You feel sad over that?
Not sad.
Okay. Stress?
Not sad. Stress.
Okay.
Yeah, that's kind of mainly my feelings associated with career.
Stress.
Stress.
Not sad. Yeah. Okay.
Stress and drive, but not sad.
Okay.
Sad.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have felt sad one time. I got laid off because it was a newspaper company, and newspaper and print is just not, it had been going downhill because everything's digital these days. So I went through a period where I was laid off, and I remember I went on a date and the guy asked me what I did, and I just felt so bad because I felt so worthless because because we Americans identify ourselves with our careers so much. And so, usually when they say, what do you do? So what do you do for a living? Or we have an answer, and I just didn't have an answer. I'm like, in between jobs, but I just didn't have an answer. And I can't be like, I'm an awesome human being. You know what I mean?
Good.
Like I could, but
I love that.
Well, what do you do? I'm an awesome
dating profile now. What do you do?
Awesome human being. But like I felt really sad because I felt like I didn't know what to identify with at this point. Yeah. But this was when I was a lot younger, you know, like maybe knock on wood, but maybe if I got laid off today, I would have more confidence because I have more work history and leadership experience and skills where I wouldn't feel so bad. But Americans still identify highly with our occupation.
Yeah. You know what's interesting? This is a little bit of a side tangent, but when I think about social media and like the presence that I want to have, I don't really want to identify with fashion because I don't want that to be my identity. I don't want my work to be my identity, you know? And so I really try not to identify myself with my work.
So how do you rather prefer to identify yourself?
I don't know, just me.
What an awesome human being.
No, if people ask me what I do for a living, yeah, I work in fashion design, but that's not my identity, you know? And so that's why it's like, it's hard for me to even, it's like, I'm like, okay, maybe I should put some styling videos out. But then I was like, no, I don't want that to define me.
Yeah, you don't have to.
You know, like I know so much about that fashion industry. Maybe I should talk more about that, but I don't know. I don't really want that just to be my identity, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure what my identity is, to be honest with you. I love my job and my career, but I don't want it to be my identity.
I think it's because you have progressed so much already that you have already established that confidence. You know what I mean? Like at this point in your life, you already have established that confidence. Like that person who I was describing back then when I got laid off, I was very young. I was very young. Yeah. So I didn't have all that to back me up, you know? Just like the question you said, oh, would you let a man support you in our other video? And I said, I would today because I have established myself. And if I had to find a job and get a career and start refire that, easy.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I would. But if I was very dependent and 21 years old, I wouldn't sign up for being a mommy and just home wife, because then if, you know, it didn't work out and I found myself, you know, 37 years old with no experience, it would be hard to be competing with people at the workplace with zero experience at that point. Yeah. So I think
it is different. To lose a job when you're really young and you're just trying to establish yourself in something.
One thing I feel like we can get caught into doing is scrolling on social media. And I really wanted to tell my mom this because when I set my mom up with Facebook, I was like, Mom, give me your phone. I'm going to open up a Facebook for you. She's like, what do you mean? What's the Facebook? What? And I did it. And now everybody and their mamas and their grandparents are on Facebook. And that's actually how they keep in touch with, you know, like my relatives in France and my relatives all over the United States, especially because they don't want to be calling long distance and all that stuff. And it's like you're passively just keeping up with what your loved ones are doing on Facebook, right? But I wanted to tell my mom, disclosure here. I hope you never find yourself feeling sad because you're looking at all these people's news feed and it looks like they're just so happy. You know, like I wanted to tell my mom that, like, Mom, like just know that even though all the news feed, everyone's traveling on vacation, smiling, happy, you know, it's all an illusion because people only post the good times, happy things. People don't post the arguments, the fights, the low times, the sad times. I wanted to tell my mom that because I'm just like, my mom is new to social media and she probably doesn't understand that she shouldn't compare herself because she's living her real life with highs and lows to social media. And it doesn't mean that everyone's life is perfect and not hers. You know what I mean? So
do you compare yourself to social media?
So when I look at social media, it's easy sometimes to think like, and I've been caught doing this where I'm just like, oh my gosh, like everyone is so perfect and happy. But then now, me today, I know that that's just an illusion, you know, and now I only compare myself to myself. And these days, I don't even post things online anymore. I just don't have the time or energy because I'm constantly in real life trying to work on myself. I think that I've learned to manage it very well. But when I look at Instagram and people I don't know, sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh.
Like that's what I do.
Oh, okay.
You know, I do not compare myself
to our inner circle.
No.
Right.
But I'm like, man, how come I'm not Beyonce? You know? And then I'm like, oh wait, because I'm not that talented. You know?
Yeah.
But those are the people that I aspire to be or am inspired by, and makes me want to work harder.
Yeah.
But no, not your average Joe, not my ex-coworker or anything like that.
Yeah.
I cannot compare myself.
Cousins, friends of families,
I don't look at
friends, whatever.
Social media.
Yeah, same.
I don't, I don't care.
Same. Like for me, I don't go and check up on people, but I'll see things passively in my news feed. And it's nice sometimes, but sometimes it gets irritating because I know that it's making noise and it's pollution to my thoughts, my train of thoughts. Yes. That's why they say, try to resist picking up your phone first thing and scrolling. Yeah. Because you're downloading all this stuff that you may not want to be shaping you subconsciously. You know what I mean? Yep. Similarly to what you said, I don't ever compare myself to anybody I know. But sometimes I do feel sad when I'm looking at strangers and I'm just like, wow, this person has it all because they're actual Instagram models. Yeah. They're actual celebrities. They're actual entrepreneurs. But to what you said, I love what you said. Now I'm like, take it as inspiration. Yeah. Take it as, oh, that sets me on fire. Mm-hmm. You know, like if they can do that, I can do that too. We can all do that. And success is it's not scarce.
Yeah, no. And like it is inspiration for me because I'm like, okay, so how did they get there? And I watch people's biographies, and these people, they freaking work hard. Mm-hmm. It was not by accident. Like all of these people that are like the idols that we're looking at, they worked hard night and day, blood, sweat, and tears.
It didn't happen overnight.
No, it didn't happen overnight, and it didn't just magically happen out of nowhere.
Right.
So that's for me motivation to work hard as well.
Mm-hmm. What would you say to our viewers who maybe are like legitimately down, like they are unemployed?
First of all, get yourself out of the house, go volunteer.
I love it.
I used to do this a lot when I was younger, and then as I got older and busier, I don't do it as much anymore.
Volunteering?
At the time.
Oh, wow.
Volunteering at women's shelters, talk to women, kids.
Wow.
Delivering food to elderlies or homeless, making peanut butter jelly sandwiches and taking it to parks and giving it to kids out in the park in low-income neighborhoods.
Yeah.
It's just like servicing people, like get yourself out there to do good and just use the time that you have to help people. And that way you can also network and you can also be fulfilled by doing something good.
I love that you touched that topic because it's true. Instead of just sitting at home feeling sorry for yourself, why don't you get out there and try to do something for somebody else? Yeah. Because even if you don't have a job, if you have, it sounds really stupid, but if you have all your limbs and your fingers and your legs and you can walk and, and you have a straight head on your shoulders.
You know how to read and write.
That's a blessing, right? So do something. I love it. Yeah. Think outside of yourself.
Yep.
Give back. Yep. And maybe that'll give you something rewarding and inspire hope.
I think that would be like the first thing to do, right? Get yourself out, help people who are even less fortunate than you.
Yeah.
And then number 2 is like brushing up in your resume and start sending resume out. And you know what? If you are not a believer in AI, like you need to change your mind and learn how to use ChatGPT and learn how to Google and all of that, because now you can ask ChatGPT to revamp your resume. Go on ChatGPT and say, I am this and I'm looking for a job. This is my job in the past and these are my responsibilities. Write me an excerpt about this job.
Yes.
Write me a cover letter for this particular role that I'm looking for. And it'll help you do all of those things for you. Like learn to use technology to your advantage and get your resume out there and then study for your interview and land that job.
I love the fact that Elsie said ChatGPT. You can go to ChatGPT and say how to start a grass cutting company. you know, how to start a cookie business, you know, and it's gonna break it down for you.
Yes.
You got to do this first, do that first, take care of this, look at these logistics, right? And establish this. It's so amazing.
And it's free. You can do the free service or you can get paid for service. My friend told me that she and her fiance are paying for ChatGPT, and it is amazing. It is super smart. You can ask it any kind of questions, and you can have real conversations with it. You can have these, you know, like existential conversation about the universe and God, and like it's just, you know, don't be afraid of AI. Like, learn to use it. You know, I don't understand when people say, oh, it's going to take our job. No, when we revolutionized like the industries and when we made trains and planes, you know, and all of those things, people said the same thing. Oh, well, you know, like what are we going to do with our lives, our jobs? Well, you adapt.
Yeah.
Learn to use it. Like if there's a new technology, learn to use it.
Yeah, I feel like I used to be really cool and understand those things when I was able to, like, you know, Super Nintendo, and I could fix any system and I can fix any wires and stuff. And then as I got older, I was like, oh my God, I was asking my brother, how do you turn on the TV on? Because I didn't even understand smart TV. But you're right. I'm a big believer. If you're not growing, you're falling behind. Yeah. If you're staying stagnant, you're falling behind. Yeah. So I do agree with that.
And I think that's a big confidence booster too. Learn skills and keeping up with technology, keeping up with what's going on in the world. Like, do not fall into the comparing yourself with other people, with the Joneses, that kind of stuff, but always like upskilling yourself.
Yeah, yeah. There's other things you could look into. For example, LA City College. I don't even know if I'm saying it right, but your local colleges have regular classes. For example, when I was living in Oakdale, Minnesota, I went to take a ceramics class at a high school, after school classes taught by teachers. And I learned ceramics, and it was for a set price, and it was really interesting. And then I took a class on how to make beads, you know. There's a intro to sewing class. There's so many things that you can do. It doesn't cost that much, like $98, you know, $54. They have classes that can help you if you want to start a business too, or, you know, learn any skill. It's amazing. Yeah. But for me, I feel like if you're feeling low, I would say sometimes it's okay to just celebrate the fact that you got out of bed. You can look yourself in the mirror and be like, okay, what am I proud of today? You just be like, I am proud of the fact that I got out of bed. I took a shower. I stepped out of the house and I went to Target, and it was good to get some sunshine. Yeah. It was good to get some sunshine. Otherwise, I would have been stuck in my bed all day. Yeah. That's okay. Celebrate your mini wins. Sometimes there's a book. This gal, she was really big, and then she's not really big anymore, but she published a book called Girl, Wash Your Face, you know? Yeah. And she's just talking about the fact that, like, she's just like, when she was really down, she was just like, girl, wash your face. Like, so basic. Right? Just so basic. Yeah. But it's okay to break it down like that, because life is not so perfect.
Yeah. I love the celebrating the small wins. And I want to add one more thing to that. It's a small thing too, and that's gratitude. You know, I never really understood like, oh, gratitude journal, this, that. I don't do a gratitude journal, but I do gratitude. And that is like the first thing, like when I wake up, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so grateful for this bed. I'm so grateful for this pillow, the sheets that I have, blanket. Like, I'm so fortunate, like that I have this.
Yeah.
You know, as I'm waking up and feeling the things that I have and going to on my way to the bathroom to wash my face and I'm so grateful that I have this thing.
Your own place, your own space.
Yeah. Keeping that gratitude and top of mind is going to really help to boost your happiness and your confidence and all of that all day. Yeah. Like it's been really good for me. And this is like a new thing that I
Really?
Yeah. Recently, okay. I would say like maybe a month.
Okay.
I don't know why, but all of a sudden I was like, I need to be more grateful, you know, for the things that I have.
Good. I'm so proud of you. I've always heard that it's so important to take the time to reflect and be grateful. Yeah. And then there are the leaders who say, when you have gratitude, there's no room for lack. Yeah. you don't sit there and think of how much you're lacking when you're celebrating your gratitude, because it fills the room.
Yep.
It fills the space, you know?
Like I just walk into work like a lot happier, a lot more grateful. Like I'm so grateful that I get to drive an hour to work and it's an amazing team. I mean, no, I'm not grateful for the drive, but
The drive is exhausting.
the drive is exhausting, but I'm grateful for this team and this company, and like I'm just
There's other things great that comes with it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And like you just show up differently.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I relate to you on your bed thing because, you know, there's moments where I'm laying in bed and I'm just like thinking to myself, I'm so grateful that I have this warm, comfortable bed, clean, warm, and protected shelter and comfortable. And what makes me grateful for that is there's been times where I'll go camping and I'll be in a tent and it's cold and wet and windy. And I'm just thinking I would give anything to just sleep in a warm bed right now. So when I'm in bed, I do realize there's so many people who are maybe not as fortunate, who are sleeping in tents on the roads or in different countries, you know, sleeping in caves. It's just, we're so blessed. And I don't want to be fixated on not remembering that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, other things that you don't have when you have so much. You know?
Yeah, exactly. So yes, I do want to wrap it up. I do want to say that I know it's, you know, winter. There is seasonal depression. It is a thing. We have our highs, we have our lows. Sometimes some of you might be gray and steady like LC here most of the time, you know, which is amazing. But I'm definitely a highs and lows kind of person. Although I am consistently pretty chill, you know, for the most part. You know,
Your exterior is chill, but your
yes.
that
My exterior is chill, but in my head, I go up and down. I go up and down, yeah. But I would say, you know, hang in there, have hope. Please, hopefully some of the things that we've talked about are some tips and some things that you can explore and think about and utilize. Nothing lasts forever. Even if you're really high and you're up there, that doesn't last forever. You know, life is not one way forever, you know, so stay humble, right? Because you might be on top of the world and things could go crashing down. So stay humble. But if you're low, similarly, you're not going to stay down there forever. The moment will pass.
Yep.
So hang in there. Write to us. Give us your comments. Let us know what you think. Give any tips that you want to share too, or any experiences you've had. Please, you know, share with your friends and family. Press the like button, subscribe. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye.